For those of you, thanks, Celeste. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Melody Price. I am the Vice President of Administration here at the Alaska Community Foundation, and it has been my pleasure to witness the incredible work of the team that I am about to present to you with the work that they've been doing to get us prepared and get everyone prepared for the new portal upgrades coming. I'm going to toss it over to Ashley so she can introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Ashley Ellington. I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing here at ACF, and definitely here to help support everybody as we move through this process. Go ahead, Celeste.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see some familiar faces here. I'm really excited to chat with you about the exciting updates coming to the Fund Portal. My name is Celeste Early, and I am the Philanthropy Officer here at the Alaska Community Foundation. And take it away, Nicole.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Nelson, and I'm the Community Fund Specialist on the Programs and Grants team. And I will pass it along to Janelle.
Hey, Nicole. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Janelle Hodge. I am the Director of Finance here at the Alaska Community Foundation.
Thanks, Janelle. Janelle will be guiding us through the finer points of the portal today. So I just wanted to give us, do a little bit of housekeeping and to cover exactly what we'll be doing today. We will do a full introduction to the new fund portal and its updates. We'll give you an idea and a run through of the refreshed layout and design. We'll talk a little bit about the new portal login URL. Now this is all going live on Monday, the 24th. And we'll be here to support you the entire time. If you have any questions, please let us know. info@alaskacf.org is where you can send that information, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can with the support that you need. There is optional two-factor authentication. Again, Janelle is going to go through that process and what that looks like, as well as the expanded access to fund information as far as statements and draft of financials. We will have time and have saved time for questions at the end. So if you could hold those until the end, or if you're someone like me who always wants to interrupt, please put those questions in the chat if they're going to leave your mind. And Nicole will be gathering those, and we'll be utilizing that during the Q&A period at the end. Okay. If each of you could share your name in the chat, we're going to kind of keep track of that and know who's here. Nicole will gather that information. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I've spoken enough. Janelle, I'm sure you've got lots to cover. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Melody. Welcome, everybody. I am going to share my screen, so bear with me. Technology is not always my friend. Can everybody see? Oh, hold on. Make sure I have the right one here. Okay. All right. Yep, can everybody see that? Okay. Yes. Thank you. So you should be able to see right now the ACF website, correct? All right, thank you. So this is where we are going to direct you, and we recommend that you bookmark our website address, which is alaskacf.org. It's going to give you quick access to everything going on with the foundation, as well as user logins, which is where we recommend you go for access to your fund portal, as well as any of the other portals that you might utilize within the systems that ACF offers, including grant management, scholarship management. Nicole's going to pop this URL into the chat, so if you want to grab that and bookmark it on your computers. So when you go to our website, alaskacf.org, if you click on user logins, it's going to then direct you to a few options: fund management, grants management, scholarship, and Hillcorp employee. Fund management will be updated. It'll say fund portal starting on Monday, as we're trying to all get used to the new verbiage around the new design and layout. From there, it'll then show you your login screen. And when you click on Fund Portal, this is what you will see when it is time to log in. From here, you'll enter your username and your password. If you have forgotten your password, you can click on this forgot your password down here, and it will send an email to the primary email address that we have on file for you. Please keep in mind that those are system generated, so at times they can go to a spam or a junk folder. If you have any difficulties logging in, if you cannot remember your username, you cannot remember your password, you don't think you've ever established either, please reach out to us at info@alaskacf.org, and we'll be happy to help you get access to your fund portal. Once you log in, this is what the new layout's going to look like. At the very top of the screen here, you'll see your fund portal. That's where you are right now. Profile and log out. This is different from how it looks right now. If you click on either of these, I'll show you what they mean here shortly. Also, directly below that, you'll see the Alaska Community Foundation's header. If you click in here, it will take you directly to our website again. This tab here is going to show you the same tool menu bar that you would see on our website. And if you click on any of these links, it will take you back to the ACF website. You can also hover over them, and it'll give you some more options if you know something particular that you're looking for that exists on our website. Directly below that, you're going to see a lovely welcome that says welcome to the fund portal. One of the things I did want to mention, when you do go to log in, our system is case sensitive. Passwords are all set, usernames, are all set to be lowercase. So some browsers we've noticed will automatically capitalize the first letter of the username when you navigate from the username field to the password field. So if you're running into trouble, definitely look at that to see if the system has done that automatically. When you first log in, which you see here is going to be the image, the layout, if you have one fund here at the Alaska Community Foundation. I do know that a lot of our users have more than one fund, so I'm going to show you what that will look like as well. So give me one moment. I'm going to make a little adjustment here. So if you have and you manage more than one fund at the Alaska Community Foundation, when you log into your portal, this is what it will look like. You'll see that same navigation at the top of the screen, the same website navigation, but now you'll have an option to select the fund that you would like to view. Once you click on that fund, it'll then take you to that fund summary page that displays the fund summary and history. You'll notice right here at the drop down where it says the Alaska Fund, if you click on this little drop down, you can quickly navigate from one fund to the other. Okay. So the first thing you're going to see here at the top, like I mentioned, is that navigation. This is in a new area, but if you click on Profile, what this will give you the opportunity to do is update any of your contact information that you have here with ACF. So if you know that you've moved, you've changed email, phone numbers, etc., you can click Edit Information, and then it'll allow you to update that information that we have. And this would be for your primary. If you have multiple addresses on file with us, let's say you have a winter address and a snowbird summer address, or a physical address and a PO box, it will only show the primary here. So if you need to make additional updates to your information, please email us so we can be sure to facilitate that. If you click on security, this is where you'll have a few options as well. These are new functions and features for you within the portal. You have the ability here to change your username. That's the username that you would use to access the portal. You can also change your password, and you can log out directly from this screen. A new security feature that is now available is two-factor authentication. This will not be automatically enabled for any of our fund portal users. If you would like to enable this, it is your choice. You can go into the security tab here and click on Enable. There are a few options then on how you would like to establish that. You can use an authenticator app such as the Google or the Microsoft apps. You can request a PIN be emailed to your email address, or you can request that you receive a PIN number via text. If you would like that option, and we currently do not have a cell phone or a mobile number on file for you, please again reach out to us and we'll be sure to put that in there so you can have that set up as an option. So to establish it, I'm going to do the one here via text. If you click next, it'll then send you a text message with that initial PIN that you can then establish. So you'll now see that two-factor authentication has been enabled. So the next time you go to log into the system, it will request not only your username and your password, but also that additional level of verification. If you want this disabled, you will need to contact ACF. Once you have enabled it, you do not have the ability to disable it. However, we can always turn that off for you. Okay. So from here, I want to go back to my fund. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the top of the screen and I'm going to click on Fund Portal. And that takes me back to that initial page where I could then select the fund, or if you only have one fund, it would take you to this fund summary and history screen. So on here, you'll notice the layout is very different. Aside from it also including these beautiful historical graphs and information, the layout of the functionality and the action menus has changed. It has moved from the top of the screen to this left side navigation bar. These bars here will always be there. It is stagnant within the system, so as you navigate through, these action bars will remain. You're going to see some information up at the top here. Current balance is the current balance of your fund. Spendable balance will be one of two things. If your fund is endowed, then that would be the amount you have available as your spendable for your endowed fund. If your fund is non-endowed, then your spendable balance would be equivalent to your current fund balance pending any grants that might be in the system but not yet processed through. It can alter as well based off of contributions and other revenue and where that is within the posting system. So if you see some difference between there and you're really curious what it is, you can always reach out to us and we're happy to answer those. The total contributions and total grants are going to be the historical numbers for your fund. So it'll be all contributions and all grants from the history of when your fund was established. Below that, you're going to see some lovely graphs and charts. These graphs will vary based off of your fund, the activity levels, and the history, depending on how long your fund has been opened. There are some features and functionality within these that we really, really appreciate, and I hope you will as well. The first thing you'll notice here at the top is this date. This, if you click on it, it gives you the ability to navigate within date ranges for information that you're wanting to see. You can set a custom date range, or you can set it based off of weeks, months, quarters, etc. And if you want to see the entire history of your fund, you can do that as well by putting in that full date range. I'm going to go back to my fund summary here. The other thing you'll notice within these charts is if you hover over a particular color, it will tell you the name of the donor that makes up that color. So if you see here, if I change, it's going to tell me the difference. It will do the same with grants as well. We only have one that's reflected here. That's why it's one solid color. And if you click on that color, it will then take you to that contributor's information, the donor information, and it will include their contact information if they have provided it to us and if they have requested that it be shared. If the donor has requested anonymity with their contribution, this information will not show and it will simply be reflected as anonymous. Or it could have the donor's name, but not their contact information based off of what the donor has requested. You'll also see the contributor's history, all of their donor history there on the side. I'm going to go back to fund summary. And the other thing over here these areas, if you hover over the points, it will tell you a little bit more information about what actually makes up those bars and graphs. So if I hover over purple, I can see the total donation amount that makes that up, as well as the number of donors and the number of donations. So it's much, a lot of new features and functionality within that. On the left side navigation, the next tab that we're going to see is contributions. So this is donor information. These are donations coming into your fund. When you click on contributions, it's going to show you the most recent contributions that have been received for your fund. You can change the number that you would like to see on any given page. You can also reorder these columns. However, whatever way you reorder them, that's how it will be going forward, and you can also adjust it. So let's say I want to see my contributor first. I just move that over to the side, and that way I can quickly see my donors first. So again, these are really based off of your own use and functionality on how you want that information to view and look when you log into your fund. You'd also have the ability to sort and reorder this information. If you click on the fields that have these arrows that go up and down, you can then sort it based off of ascending or descending order. You can also search within the area. So if I enter and I know who I'm looking for, or I know a donor's name that I'm looking for, I can put it in the search and then again, click on that information. I can either click on the contributor's name, or I can actually click on the donation ID to get some additional information on that donor and that donor's information. You're going to have the ability to filter this information by dates. So if you click on filter, it'll give you the ability to add a filter date range. And you can export all of this information as well. If you have a fund that has been established for a while and has a lot of contribution information, and if you first log in without applying any filters and you click export, it will export the entire history of all donations and contributions. So if you keep that in mind, if you go to utilize that export button, what it does is it exports it into an Excel file that you can then utilize. From here, we're going to go to grants. When you click on the grants tab, you'll see there's two over here in the action menu, one that says grants and one that says grant request. Grants is going to give you a few different things. The first one you'll see is grant summary, and this is going to be grant summary by grantees. So it will list your grantees by the total number of grants and amount. And again, you can sort these columns and search within these fields as well. If you click on grant history, it will show you individual grants, not by grantee. It will have the grantee information, but this area sorts it by individual grant history. And again, you can sort this information in any way. You can rearrange these columns however you want them to appear, if you want grantee first, date first, etc. If you click into the grant on the grant ID, it's going to give you more information around that particular grant. It's going to show you the grant date, who it was paid to, the status. The status of a grant can either be received, approved, or paid, or complete. Paid and complete basically mean the same thing. And the fund, the dollar amount, the purpose of the grant, and over here it'll show the date that it was actually paid. The grant date and the payment date can be different. The reason for that is once grants come in, they come into the system and are recorded by grant date, the date we received that request from you. We process payments for grants within 10 business days of the grant request being received, provided we don't have to have additional levels of approval. For example, for some of our larger funds, if a grant is in excess of $200,000 and a penny, then it does require our board to approve it. So that could take longer in that instance. We do recommend that if you have to make a grant request, of that size, to please reach out to us in advance with as much notification as possible. From here, you can quickly copy grants. So if you know that it's a similar grant that you want to repeat, you can just quickly click on the copy and it would just do that for you as well. Reoccurring grants is a new feature. This is one that we're really excited about. So this gives you the ability to quickly view any reoccurring grants that you have created on your fund. You will also have the ability now to edit or cancel your reoccurring grants. In the past, you would have to reach out to us to do that for you, but now you can do that on your own. And the way you would do that is once you have one established, you come into reoccurring grants and you click on the ID number, it will show you your currently established reoccurring grant. From here, you can edit it or cancel it. The next tab we're going to show here is grant request. This is where you will go to submit a request for a grant. The other thing you'll notice is that grant request button right here is always there. If you notice, no matter where I navigate within the system or what screen I'm on, that grant request right here is always there. And that's stagnant there because the primary purpose for most of our fund holders is actually granting. And so we wanted to ensure and wanted to ensure that that was always front and center. Grant request will show you your most recently requested grants and their current status, as well as any reoccurring that you have created initially. So you can see my status here on these ones. I've created some in here just so you can see what they look like. Once a grant is received, it'll show that approval button once it's made it through our program and grants team for approval. And then once it's paid, it'll show paid. To create a grant request, click on this. And you have 3 options for creating a grant: previous grantee or fund, search grantee, or manual grantee. If the grant that you are requesting from your fund is to an organization or another fund here at the foundation that you've given to prior, you can click on previous grantee or fund. And what that is going to give you is the ability to have a drop down of all prior grantees that you've ever given to, as well as other foundational funds. From there, you can click on the one you want and then complete a few of the fields. Description, this is where you would put the purpose or the intention of your grant. If it is just for the general support or operating of the foundation, that's where you would put that in there, or the organization. If you're making a grant in memory or in honor of someone, you can also put that information in here. Or if you know that the organization is maybe doing a fundraising drive for a particular purpose or cause or reason, you can put that in here as well. The dollar amount, the minimum amount of a grant is $100. The maximum is whatever you have available to spend. If you do not want your contact information shared or your fund name shared with the organization receiving your grant, be sure to click on this anonymous button. Otherwise, our grant letters do include the name of the fund that is issuing the grant, as well as the fund advisors. That's who you all are. Contact information, because we encourage our grantees to thank those who contribute to their support. If you're an agency fund, that information won't be on there because you're essentially just giving money to yourself. And so you can thank yourself directly. If you would like to establish a reoccurring grant, you would click on this button here. It gives you then the option to establish the date that you would like that reoccurring grant to start, and the interval that you would like it to occur: monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. For our endowed funds and our agency funds, those who might want a grant that's distributed once a year or biannually, maybe based around your spendable allotment, you can come in here and establish that and set that up. If the dollar amount ever needs to change based off of what you might have available, like I said, you can go in and edit that. But it does give you that ability to establish those reoccurrings on an annual or semi-annual basis. You then tell it the number of reoccurrings that you would like it to occur. Again, keep in mind, you can always change this if you need it. Attachments, these are for if you manage a fund that has a requirement for approval, some level of approval, maybe from your board or a committee for grants, and you need to provide that showing that the grant has that approval history and records. This is where you would attach that information. And the additional instructions area is if you have information that you need to relay directly to our internal staff. Maybe you have information about the grant or you're unsure about something. This is where you can put that information and our program and grant staff would review it. From there, you're going to say add to cart. So I'm going to go back to create grant request. And let's say that you want to grant to an organization that you had not given to before. You can utilize the search grantee feature. When you click here, you can enter the name of the nonprofit. You can also enter city and state if needed, and EIN. So you've always been able to search within that name field utilizing the EIN, but now they've found it has broken that out to make it a little bit more intuitive. So you know that if all you have is the EIN for the organization, or if you do have that, it actually makes the searching much easier. You can put that in there and then click search. So when you do that, it's going to return two different search result buckets. The first one that you'll see is the Alaska Community Foundation results. This searches our database, and what it does is it's searching any matches within our database for any organizations that ACF has issued a grant to in the past. The other button here that you'll see is Candid results. So if you do not see the organization you're looking for under the Alaska Community Foundation, click on Candid. Candid is a national database search that searches organizations that are registered with the IRS as a 501c3. Do keep in mind that some organizations might not show up under Candid results. Some organizations, like, for example, a church or a school, they might not show up under there simply because of how Candid has their databases set up. The other reason they might not show up is it might be a newer organization, one that has been established more recently, and it has not made it all the way through all of those registrations within the database. If that's the case and you cannot locate the organization within either two search results, I encourage you to either reach out to us and we can assist you with trying to locate that information, or you can come back to create grant request and click on manual grantee. There you can put in the organization's name, address, and contact information. And we encourage you to put in as much information as you might have for that organization if you're utilizing this feature, because then it gives us more information to try and help and find that nonprofit. So once you've created your grant request, you're not done yet. If you notice over here, this new little tab button showed up that says cart. If you do any online shopping, you'll be used to a shopping cart. Until you check out, you're not done. So if you click on the cart, and it'll show you how many grants you have within your cart. And this one shows 1. So from there, I'm going to click on my grant, and then I'm going to review. And if everything looks good and is set up the way I want it, I'm going to submit grant request. Until you click on that submit button, your grant does not make it out of your fund portal and into our system. Now, a new feature that will also be rolling out in the next few weeks is an email reminder that will automatically be sent by the system if for any reason you leave a grant sitting in that cart. There'll be an automatic email that'll go out to you, letting you know that you left something behind and you didn't check it out completely. All right, a lot on grants. The next one here that you will see is fund statements and shared documents. So if you click on this, you're going to see again 3 little areas here within the system. Fund statements, these are your quarterly fund statements that are generated from the system to you. No matter how you have your fund statement preference established with us, whether it's email, online, or by paper, your statement will be available in here. Even if you've selected to receive it via paper or via email, it will be available in your portal for you to view and download or print whenever you would like to. You can search over here by a particular quarter or year or period to make it a little bit easier. This was going to be really good for some of our funds that have been here for as long as we have, for 30 years. The next tab you'll see here is files. This is where we, ACF, will share any files or documents that we feel are important to your fund, like your fund agreement. If you would like to see or view your fund agreement, you can always come in here to your portal and see it. If you happen to click on this files and you don't see your fund agreement, please shoot us an email and let us know. That just means we need to go into the system and make sure that it's marked as shareable. The other tab here is going to be financials. So if you click here, this is going to give you some additional functionality within your fund. It's going to give you, as the user, the ability to run your own draft financial statements on your fund. Please keep in mind, these are draft numbers. Until the quarterly statements are issued, which is roughly 4 to 6 weeks after the end of the quarter, those numbers are not final and they should not be utilized for any official reporting purposes. But they are good to give you a general idea of where your fund might be in a particular period before those statements are generated. From here, you can run a statement of financial position, which is essentially your balance sheet, and your statement of activities, which is your income statement, basically showing you information going on in your fund. This can be really beneficial because on a monthly basis, we are assessing investment revenue and administrative fees to the funds. And we also assess to your fund as they are received contributions and grants. So these can be helpful if you're wanting to see that activity really going on within your fund before those statements are issued. But please keep in mind, like I said, these are draft financials. So to run them, if you click on Statement of Financial Position, it'll ask you for a date. And this will ask you for 1 day because this is your balance sheet. This is essentially showing you the assets, the liabilities of your fund. So what is the financial position of your fund? And if you click on that date, it'll show you a draft. And it says right there, draft. Statement of financial position. It'll show you your general checking account balances. These are essentially accounts we use for issuing checks, your investment activity on that fund, as well as your historical or net earnings, depending on whether your fund is endowed or non-endowed. If you view this and you have no idea what you're looking at, you don't know what any of those words mean, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to walk you through it and explain it. The other one you'll see is Statement of Activities. And this is where you would put in a date range because you're looking at the activities on that fund, revenue coming in and expenses going out. So if you click on, let's say last year, it'll then show you all of that revenue activity, including contribution revenue, investment activity, grant revenue coming in, as well as expenses going out. For the majority of our fund holders, those expenses will be limited to bank and merchant fees, which is on credit card contributions coming in, investment fees. Those are the fees that are assessed on our investment pools. Administrative fees, that's the foundational support fees that we assess in order to manage the funds here, as well as grant expenditures. And then it'll show you that change in net assets. So again, these are draft, and if you have any questions about it, if you're not sure what you're looking at it, definitely please reach out and I'd be happy to walk you through that information and provide a little bit more clarity. Once fund statements are available and have been pushed out to the system, this system will send you an automatic notification letting you know that your statement is available in your portal for viewing. Those email notifications are system generated, so they sometimes go to a spam or a junk folder. So just keep in mind with that. The other notifications that you will receive automatically from your fund, and these we can turn off or turn on. They are currently turned on for everybody. If you do not want them turned on, please let us know. That is donation notifications as well as grant notifications. The donation notification will be sent to fund advisors when a donation is received into your fund. The grant notifications will be sent to fund advisors when a grant expense comes out of your fund. Those are turned on automatically for all of our fund holders, but if you do not want to receive those, please reach out and we can turn those off for you. The last action menu you'll see over here is donate by credit card. And if you click on this, it takes you to our beautiful Giving Hub, where you can see the funds that are publicly available on our Giving Hub to receive online contributions via credit card. This is not a complete listing of all the funds here at ACF. This is just a listing of those funds who have chosen to be public on our Giving Hub to receive contributions. If you click on that, you'll quickly notice that your fund or your funds, depending on how many you have, will show here at the top in the promoted list. That's just because you're currently logged into the portal, so it's going to put your funds front and center, but that is not the normal promoted fund list. All right. And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, this information again is going to be stagnant. It'll always be here. It includes ACF's contact information, our hours of operation, and if you need to access our Pick, Click, Give program or the BP Energy Center, the links are there, as well as those user login links for any of the other systems that you might need access to. So that was a lot of information, a lot to go over. We are very excited for the new features and functionality, and we hope that it will greatly provide your access to information and the way you view your fund. If you have questions, we have time for those. So Nicole, were there any questions?
Yes, there is a comment from Raymond about locating his fund so that he can follow the instructions better. And there's no specific question, but oh, go ahead.
Locating,
I think there's a couple of things happening there. Thank you so much, Raymond, for the comment. Once the portal goes live, there will be an opportunity for you to find your fund in the portal and have a refresher course by looking at this webinar on the recording, should you want to do that in real time with your fund. So it will go live. The new portal that Janelle has just presented will go live on Monday. And if you have any issues accessing your funds, please do let us know, and we can also walk you through the process at that time.
Yeah. Thank you, Melody.
Of course.
And there is a question from Margaret on the Giving Hub. Is there a way to select areas of the state, for example, Interior or Fairbanks?
On the Giving Hub. Oh, that's a really good question. Let's see. You mean in the search area?
Yes, I believe so. Or select an area and look there. Yep, yes, on the search area. She says yes.
So I believe, and Ashley, you might,
Yep.
we did add those area. Right?
No,
So,
hold on.
no. Okay.
Hold on. Thanks, Margaret, for your question. And currently there is not an option to search on Giving Hub by area.
Okay.
And that is something that is on the wish list, but we have not quite activated yet. For those funds that are affiliate funds, on Giving Hub, you're able to search by the affiliates area or community. So for instance, Golden Heart, you could search for, you should be able to write search for Golden Heart or Fairbanks or North Pole, and those funds will show up. but we had to do a little bit of a workaround to make that function work this way at the moment. But it's definitely on the list of things we are talking with Found It for.
Thank you, Ashley. We do have limitations to what we are able to do and not do. The software is not created by ACF. It is created by Found It Technologies, which is a software company that specifically develops software for community foundations. So we have some flexibility on what we're able to do, basically making it look pretty. And that was Ashley's team and really her communications team of setting up all of that, but some of the features we just don't have the ability to do yet. So thank you. Any other questions?
You can also just blurt them out too, now
Yes.
that we're finished with the presentation. So that works for us as well. Okay. Hearing none, that's great. That means Janelle answered all the questions that will ever be had. No. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate your attendance and the questions. Oh, we have one more that came through here. Hold on. Nicole, did you want to read that question?
Sure,
That just came
yes.
through from Barb?
From Barb, currently quarterly statements become available more than 30 days after the end of the quarter. Is there any chance they will become available sooner?
The short and quick answer is I wish, but most likely no. So the reason fund statements take a little bit longer, on average 4 to 6 weeks, is we do not close the quarter until we have reported investment activity in terms of earnings and revenue, et cetera. And so we have very diversified and varied investment portfolios and pools. We manage 3 investment pools here at the foundation. And so because of that, we are waiting for those statements to be sent to us before we can actually facilitate the recording of those investment earnings and revenue. Some of them report earlier in the month, but there are some that generally do not report until around the 15th to the 30th of the month prior. So because we want to ensure that when fund statements go out, that they are as close to accurate for actual reporting at that time, that is the reason for that delay. That functionality within the portal of giving the ability to review and run your own income statement and balance sheet gives you a little bit more insight to what that is, since we do post investment activity on a monthly basis as they are received. It's always that last month that we're generally waiting on. We do have a few of our more diversified and alternative investments that only report quarterly. Some only report annually. So because we are waiting, that's why there is that delay.
Thank you, Janelle. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
Okay, thank you again, everyone, for your attendance. Ashley, would you like to talk a little bit about where our guests can find this information after the webinar is over? Oh, you're on mute.
Gets me every time. She's ironic. But so this webinar will be posted on our landing page for this project, and I will add in the URL in the chat, but it's essentially alaskacf.org/giving-hub-portal-update, which is lovely. And you'll be able to find this in the FAQs. There's also a bunch of information there about the Giving Hub and what frequently asked questions we could come up with. But if there's anything that we don't have listed that you think that others might be wondering about, please let us know and we'll be happy to add it.
Great. Thank you again. Any additional questions that pop up for you, info@alaskacf.org. And we look forward to you being able to access all of the great information that Janelle shared on Monday. Thanks, everyone.